Well, good morning. Whoa. At least here in the Pacific Northwest, it's 10:04, 4 minutes late. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We have, again, a ton of stuff I got bombarded with, so many email questions. I'm going to try and rip through them. I wanted to basically have an agenda because that seems to work for me. So what we're going to do is Saturday, May 30th, 2020. I also have some fun occurring outside because people are cutting down some trees and stuff. So if you hear that, well, I'm sorry. We're going to answer the email questions. We're going to rip through them. There's a lot. I want to show you some new products if we have time. And then I do want to attend to the live chat comments. I don't know. I guess some people have the knack for being able to just end their live stream. And I always feel like an idiot not paying attention to all these people who are communicating me. I would like to go through the comments at the end if you're still around. What I'd like you to do, if you can remember this, is if you could like maybe type in QQQ, if you have any questions or something like that. And that way, as I'm scrolling through the comments, if you get engaged in other conversations, which is fine, go ahead and engage in other conversations. It's a free-for-all, right? If you get engaged in other conversations and stuff like that, I'll be able to scroll through the comments and see a question. You can use QQQ and say whatever you want. But that way I'll be able to flag these things and I won't have to sit here and waste all your time going through all these comments. Okay? We cool on that? All right, so let's get into the email questions. Let me just see who's here real first. Hello, Captain Jack, Trevor, thank you. We got Pierre Gigon. Hey man, thanks. Course is awesome. Pedantic, hello. Curtis, hello sir, thank you for joining. Curtis, Pierre, Shiznuts, hey man. Captain Jack, Ranger 7, hey man, thanks for joining us. And Ian Craig, of course. And I probably missed a few, and I'm sorry. So let's get into this. There's a ton of stuff to cover. All right, so first thing we have on this is question 1. This was asked by another person who... Another person asked this, and yet there's another person who asked the same thing. I really want to discuss white balances. I don't understand it at all. Is it really that important to dial in with pinpoint accuracy? How much is too much? Just talking YouTube videos here. Thanks, and that's from Mike, one of many mics. I have an opinion that breaks many people's and filmmakers and cinematic people's heads. And I'll give that to you. If you're just beginning or you're just starting out and you have a camera, you have a T3i or a 600D or a 5D or whatever you're using, I suggest you set up your lights and everything else and you go in and you look at, for now, what does the auto white balance look like? What's that around? And then take a photo of that on your camera or whatever. Just take a photo. Then you can go in and choose. They have like tungsten light settings, they have standard settings, they have indoor cloudy settings, etc. And dial that in until you get something close to the auto white balance. You don't want to use auto white balance. If I were using auto white balance right now and I held something up that was white or was showing something, what'll happen is, like your phone does, the white balance, it'll try and change and correct, and you don't want that. That would be my first level of attack on that. Then you get into doing other things like doing custom white balance. I'm going to make a video on this again because there's a lot of people who haven't understood this. You can do things like here we go. This is the poor man's way to get your white balance in that setting, your custom white balance. You use something like this. I think it's 10 or whatever dollars, has this funky thing on it, and what you do is you hold it over your lens, you take a photo, you go into custom white balance. The custom white balance goes, oh, I see what's happening. I'm going to set the white balance to what I think it is. It works most of the time. You got to look with your eyeballs to see. The other thing you can do is you can get into things like this X-Rite color checker. Now we're getting into, are my whites okay? Are my blacks okay? Are my grays okay? Are my skin tones are okay? that's a whole nother level. I'm going to make a video on this starting from the easiest to the hardest. I really like being able to take a picture with you standing in front of that camera, and then take a picture with your camera using your auto white balance. It's mostly right. The other thing is you hold up a piece of white cardboard or paper or something like that, and then take a photo of it, and then look at it, compare it to something else that's white. Take a piece of paper and look at it, and then you'll be able to adjust your white balance. That's the white balance thing. I'll really go into this, but just keep it simple for first. Just take a photo using auto white balance, look at it and go, that looks about right. Then you can dial in your normal settings in your camera and just leave it that way until you get more skilled, or until you watch my video or somebody else's video on that subject. So yeah, is it important to dial in with pinpoint accuracy? I don't think so. I think for these talking head videos, not really. I've never had anybody, well, that's not true. I really screwed up my white balance once. I never had anybody come in and go, your white balance is, 5 degrees to the right and it doesn't look right. Nobody cares. Plus, realize when you show something, you'll see this in movies, you'll see like a yellow cast and they'll have these practical lights or something. Eyeballs adjust really fast, so when they're watching something, it doesn't take them long, if it isn't crazy, for their eyeballs to adjust to whatever white balance you're using. People get crazy over this. If you're shooting something cinematically, that's a whole different deal. If you're just doing a talking head video, just don't worry about it. Just let it ride. Okay, good. Question 2. This is a long one, so bear with me. Hi, Kevin. After taking your course, which I enjoyed, he's talking about the YouTube course. Let me check the comments here and make sure of something. Good. I don't have any comments saying, ha. Your audio is terrible. After taking your course, which I enjoyed, and searching my soul as to what I want to do between now and when I'm dead, I have a lot of desires and ideas. Stories have always played a big part in my life ever since I caught the reading bug in the 6th grade. So I've been learning how to write stories with little success. Yeah, you need practice, man. It's harder than I thought it would be. Yeah, no kidding. In addition, I have many interests in making things, also a lifelong vocation and avocation. So I want to do everything at once, but we both know that won't lead to the outcome I'm looking for. True. New YouTube channel. New tricks. So here's my current thoughts as a retired codger boomer. I'm 71. Wow. I'm contemplating a YouTube channel about following my follies while learning all kinds of stuff. Let's call the channel New Tricks. That fits. That's cool. It would chronicle the ups and downs, successes and failures, the humor and frustration that are bound to accompany such undertakings. I will have some skits with other actors to illustrate, dramatize my inner thoughts. I've written a script for the first one. It would include interviews with other people learning new things and people who have succeeded at what I'm in the process of learning. It's all stuff that I want to learn anyway, and this gives me an excuse to jump into the deep end. It also gives me deadlines, which is helpful, and motivation not to disappoint my audience. True that. Questions. What would be my audience, and how do I find them? Okay, that's the first question. I really think I covered this in the live stream I did last week as far as audiences and how you determine your audience and how you get there. That's the short answer. I would go back through the YouTube course because it does talk about defining your audience and getting in there and who you should go after and who you shouldn't. I can go into this more personally, but this alone would take me an hour to go over it, not because you're dumb, but because I talk a lot until someone understands. Will the diversity of subjects be an asset or a liability? I'm not sure. I think if you set your YouTube channel up, for instance, to be a thing and all those things fit into that hole, that's okay. If someone comes to your YouTube channel, it's like, wow, you're doing this review and audio reviews and camera reviews and Disneyland park reviews and restaurant reviews. They're going to get confused unless it's based upon this little can of stuff that you're plopping in there and it all fits. In other words, I'm a travel channel. I'm showing you how I travel in an RV, how I travel on a plane, how I travel on a bike. That can work. Recently, YouTube This drives me crazy. I think I mentioned this last week. Recently, YouTube sent out this thing. It was I think it was a video or it was a thing on your channel that said, hey, you should diversify and you should go for all these things and it will help open up your channel and you'll be able to get more viewers. YouTube just does what they think is new for them. That may work for bigger channels. It actually doesn't work. Your diversity of going over and reviewing cameras and cups and these things and sunglasses, I don't think it works unless you're a big channel.